So, hi there. I'm Raleigh Brown. This is my good friend of 40 plus years, Ken Ulansey. And we're going to do a little concert for you today if we succeed. We've spent the last hour trying to get Charlie the dog acclimated to the saxophone. Charlie had probably never heard a saxophone live before.
And certainly never fingered one.
Yes.
He didn't know the alternate B flat.
He couldn't really play it, but he could certainly make some noise about it. So he is now, he's to Kenny's right. You can see him just right down there. Kenny can point at him, yeah. And you can see he's chewing his frozen Kong. And if he gets through that during the half hour, then I have a backup. So we're going to start right in with the song. This is a Tom Waits song, which I do often, but I always think of Kenny when I do it because it's got the line, "Thought I heard a saxophone, I'm drunk on the moon." So here we go. Tight slack-clad girls on the graveyard shift do the cement stroll, catch the midnight drift. Cigar chewing Charlie in his newspaper nest. He's chewing a Kong right now. Grifting hot horse tips on who's running the best. And I'm blinded by the neon. Don't try and change mine too. I thought I heard a saxophone. I'm drunk on the moon. Now the moon's a silver slipper. She's pouring champagne stars. Broadway's like a serpent, pulling shiny top-down cars. Larimer is teeming with that undulating beat as some Bonneville goes screaming its way wildly down the street. And I'm blinded by the neon. Don't try and change my tune. Thought I heard a saxophone. I'm drunk on the moon. Started your break. Harmonies from Suki, from Charlie. One-handed saxophone player, Ken Ulansey. Hearts flutter and race. The moon is on the wane. Tarts mutter their dream hopes. The night will ordain. Calm dancers and schemers, cherry delight. And there's a Cleveland-bound greyhound, and it cuts through the night. And I've hocked all my yesterdays. Don't try and change my tune. I thought I heard a saxophone. I'm drunk on the moon. Here's that F sharp. So Drunk on the Moon, this is the Raleigh Brown Trio. Guitar, sax, and dog noises. Percussion, yes, and or who knows what else. And Charlie's sitting right next to the camera, so if things start to rock and roll on your screen, it's not the internet's fault. So, so Kenny and I met in West Philadelphia in 1980, summer of 1980. And
she's feeling more and more like 1840.
Yeah, I know. So and Kenny played with pretty much everybody who played in Philadelphia in the acoustic music movement, and he was playing with Jack McGann, who was a legendary guitarist who I had heard about back when I lived in San Francisco, and I was playing with a woman named Mia Boynton, with who I'm still in touch with.
I haven't heard her name in forever.
Yeah, and Kenny was also playing with Mia Boynton. And so I met Kenny, I met Jack McGann, and I met Ann Mintz. And I'm going to look back here and see if Ann is on today. I would assume she'd be here if she could. I'm not going to take time to say hello to people like usual. Hi, Alex. Alex Bevan is there, my old buddy. And Paul Sykes. He saw Kenny's name, and he had to be here. And Ann is here, of course.
Paul used to play with Jack and I.
Yeah, Paul Sykes played in the swing band with Jack McGann and with Ken. And there's Ben Ulansey as well. Ben says impressive multitasking. So Ben is Kenny's son.
and quite the writer on Medium.com these days, if you want to get excited by a young writer.
Yeah. And so so we've known each other all these years, and with the last two songs we're going to do today are Jack McGann, songs that I associate with Jack. And Kenny will tell you a little bit about his experience with those too. But first we're going to do A Felicidade,
yes,
which is Louis Bonfa.
Yeah.
Written by Louis Bonfa. It's one of the tunes from Black Orpheus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. There's a song with very sad lyrics called Happiness, Felicidade,
yeah.
and a song with very sad
Triste.
lyrics called Triste,
happy lyrics
called Tristeza.
Yeah.
So
anyhow, the what seems to be the case here is that Charlie doesn't like the solos. He likes it when I'm singing. He's working on his Frozen Kong. If he joins in and plays harmony, I've instructed Kenny if he tries to walk up Kenny, then Kenny should stand up. And I think he'll have enough headroom on the camera to be seen. If not, I'll move the camera. Okay, ready? You ready, Charlie? Oh yeah, he's ready. Okay, so we'll just start with a little vamp, which is going. Twice?
No.
Okay.
Well, I would have gone on to the bridge, but somebody was beckoning.
So I want you to know, one of the things I have to tell you here is that Kenny is one of the most accommodating friends I've ever had. There aren't many saxophone players who would come up and sit here with me and have to deal with a dog with one hand and play their sax with the other and still be playing great notes, you know. So it's quite a thing. I'm going to take just a second here and run through some names and say hello. So Steve DeHaas was first man in, Milwaukee Matson, Mike Verbeck and Warren and Janelle, and Kathy Marzick and Bob McKenna, and my old buddy Alex Bevan, Steve Edelman out there in Tucson, S.A. Tudhope in the Northwest, Deb Leiby-Clark in Ambler, Donna Greenberg in Center City, Johnson Hogg in France, Paul Sykes either in Florida or at the shore. I'm not sure which, at which time
Or
of
the
year.
Florida shore.
Yeah, who knows. And Charlotte Cantrell in Southern California, Pasadena, I think. And Kate Petrella, we're so glad to know you're okay after the storm in Florida, Kate. And Rhonda Scott Merrick out there in the Chicago area, and Ann Mintz in Germantown or Mount Airy, and Carol Pratt out there in Mentor, Ohio, Ann Caston in Cuyahoga Falls, and Charlie Bryant down there in the People's Republic of Montgomery County in Maryland, and Betsy McIntyre in Northeast Ohio, all you guys, Ben Ulansey at the Ulansey home, maybe, in Cheltenham, Elkins Park, and Cynthia Heller, who's Ben's mother and Ken's wife, and Bunny Barnes right here in Sellersville, and quite a crew. Great to have you all here. And so... I'm just running through here to make sure I didn't miss anybody. David Arthur Ratcliffe over there in the UK. Hey, David. Connie Adams in Santa Barbara. Dwight Shoemate right next. Oh, he's at the store. He lives next door, but he works for George's Music. And Bob McKenna, did I say hi to you? Quite a crew. It's great to see you guys here. Steve Edelman, Amy Roach. And I'm working my way down here. I'll have lots to read later. And John Hubner, my good friend from junior high on, one of the few people who I know longer than I know Ken Ulansey, you know, and Ann Mintz. And Zoe Blank. Hey, Zoe. And Jackie Damsky up there in Massachusetts. Jackie's a great, like Kenny, Jackie is a great sideman. She plays fiddle, and now she's becoming a solo performer in her own right. And it's good. And Bobby Forrest out there in the great Northwest. So, hello to all of you. So, Kenny, tell us a little bit about what you were telling me right before the show started about momentous moments with
Well, that's with
different tunes.
with Everything Happens to Me.
Yeah.
Playing with Jack was always an education and a treat. He always said that he didn't want to choose songs that he couldn't get his mouth around, was the phrase he used. If the words didn't feel right coming out of his mouth, he wasn't interested in singing the songs. So he could never be in a cover band of any kind, whether doing other people's folk tunes or not. And he prided himself on finding the most he'd find the B-sides. If somebody had an A-side to his song, he'd always be much more curious about what else was on the record. And this Fool in Myself, I forget how he found it, but I remember when he presented it to Paul and I, and we tried to find all kinds of instrumental weavings through his great guitar playing. So.
Great. So we'll do this one, and then you can tell us a little bit about that story about Everything Happens to Me, and any stories you've got. So this is a tribute to Jack McGann, and those of you who've heard my song "Cherished Angels," Jack is the last verse of "Cherished Angels," and Kenny.
See how Charlie likes it.
Yeah, we'll see what Charlie does now. If Charlie's still working on his Frozen Kong, but he takes time out to check in and throw in a note here and there. We'll see how it goes.
That's the other song. You want to do that one?
Fooling Myself.
Oh.
I'll start here. I tell myself I'm through with love, and I'll have nothing more to do with love. I stay away, but every day I'm fooling myself. I tell my friends that I don't care. I shrug my shoulders at the whole affair. But they all know it isn't so. I'm fooling myself. And every time I pass my face in the looking glass, I shake my head and say, how do you fool? You're throwing your life away. I may seem gay, I may act proud, but every time I see you in a crowd, I just want to shout out loud, I'm fooling myself. Take it, guys. I'm going to come back on the bridge. And every time I pass my face in the looking glass, I not shake my head and say, how do you fool? You're throwing your life away. I may seem gay, I may act proud, but every time I see you in a crowd, I just want to shout out loud, I'm fooling myself, and I mean it. Fooling myself. So Charlie's getting acclimated. He's working on his thing there. Thank heavens.
He doesn't mind the saxophone now, but he's a little bit upset about the flat nines.
Yeah. I think that the sharp 11 got him on that last one. So I want to say hi to the Invisibles. The Invisibles are Judith Fox, Kate Mack, Linda Worcester, and Kit Serikaku, and in the female side of the aisle. And on the male side of the aisle, Bill Rubenstein, Mike Stillman, Joel Biget over there in France, and Mario Prue, who built this guitar.
Judith Fox, the Cherry Tree Judith Fox?
That's her.
Judith!
She stops in. I can never tell. She's one of the Invisibles. They don't show up on my software, but they show up on Facebook. So if she's here, and I think if she saw your name, it's pretty likely she's here. So, I thank you all for coming out. We're gonna. You want to talk a little bit about Everything Happens to Me?
This was a song that had a few pivotal moments for Jack in performance. The lyric, as you'll see, is very, very clever. And just a little bit self-pitying. Everything happens to me.
Yeah.
And the first major performance, we'd been playing it around for a while, but he played it at the Philly Folk Festival when he was just coming out as a gay man, and changed the last lyric to I fell in love just once and it's with a guy like you. And it was at a workshop about exactly it was a minorities workshop, which he had prefaced saying, I suppose you're all wondering what a white guy up here is doing at a minorities workshop. Well, I'm gay, and he explained it in the most loving, humorous possible way, and for the festival. And then that line really won people's hearts in a magical way.
Now was that the same workshop where he sang "Hey, Good Lookin'" to Frank?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And then the next time, another pivotal time, was when he was letting the community know that he was HIV positive at a return concert at the Cherry Tree, and
I was on that one.
Yep, yeah. And that was not a dry eye in the crowd. Even though the song's very, very clever lyrics were still just as clever as ever.
Yep. So we'll do this song for you. I will sing you the mantra. Ken has never played the mantra, but he'll play it in the key of C. And
okay.
I want to thank you all for coming out. It looks like Charlie is done with his thing. So I'm going to go get Charlie's lick pad, and we'll see how that works. He's never had a lick pad, and this will be a new experience for him. Did you
And
finish?
I'll ask the guitar crowd out there if they know the definition of a minor second, which of course is two sax players playing a unison, right? So the training for beginning this concert, I should tell you all, was my quietly playing for 30 seconds while Raleigh fed Charlie
Tasty
continual treats, and then I'd stop playing and
The
he
treats
would get
would
no
stop.
treats. So
And it worked to an extent. He was much better. He's working on his thing now. If we can get through this song, we'll be
Yeah.
great. Okay, so and I'm just going to go right into this.
okay.
Well, I make a date for golf, and you can bet your life it rains. I try to have a party, and the guy upstairs complains. I guess I'll go through life just catching colds and missing trains. Everything happens to me. You know I never missed a thing. I've had the measles and the mumps. And when I play an ace at cards, my partner always trumps. I guess I'm just a fool who never looks before he jumps. Everything happens to me. At first my heart thought you could end this jinx for me. That love would turn the trick to end despair. But now I just can't fool this head that thinks for me. I've mortgaged all my castles in the air. I telegraphed and telephoned, sent an airmail special too. Your answer was goodbye, and there was even postage due. I fell in love just once, then it had to be with you. Everything happens to me. Play a little, Kenny. Keep going. Okay, we're gonna kind of swing this. At first my heart thought you could end this jinx for me. That love would turn the trick to end despair. But now I just can't fool this head that thinks for me. I've mortgaged all my castles in the air. I telegraphed and telephoned. I sent an airmail special too. Your answer was goodbye, and there was even postage due. I fell in love just once, and then it was with a creep like you. Everything happens. Everything happens to me. Okay.
Oh boy.
He's a very good dog. So I want to thank you all for joining us. This was a little ragged but right, we'd like to think. And I think Kenny gets special points for playing the sax with one hand effectively. And I didn't get a chance to do announcements today. I will be back on Sunday morning at 10:30. The rest of you can announce yourselves. And I think Bunny is doing her thing on Friday at 4. I think, or maybe she's doing it at 5. And Warren on Saturday maybe, and Steve on Friday earlier in the day. And Steve, I hope your shoulder problems are getting better. And
Should we mention that duo concert?
oh yeah, and also Kenny and I, for those of you in the Philly area, Kenny and I have been conscripted to play at a benefit concert for the Abington Friends Meeting. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, they're
And
building some accessibility.
yeah, they're trying to make it handicap accessible, and I'll be posting stuff about it, and that's not coming up for almost a month, so we'll have time to mention that. But if you liked what you heard here, I'm Raleigh Brown and Ken Ulansey. If you didn't, then I'm
Blame the dog.
I'm Guy Van Duzer and he's Billy Novak, and
Right.
so. So I'll sing it and then we'll vamp it out for a while. Be happy, be healthy, be brave, and be calm. Be kind, it's a snap. And if you get cranky, take a nap. Let's go through it one more time. And before we go, we'll give you a quick look at Charlie working on his lick pad. This is a new deal. Charlie was, he tried to be a good dog, and he actually did pretty well. So give Charlie a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. Yay! He even let us do a couple tunes at the end without bothering us. And I will see you guys on Sunday. Thanks again.